Drew Timme goes for 21 points. Rasir Bolton goes for 23 as well for the Zags, and they get back on track. They win this game by 18. You know, we talk about Gonzaga and the level that they've been on for years. Guys, it's just not easy to duplicate that to the level that they've been on year in, year out. Patrick, where do you stand on Gonzaga? Is this a team that you still believe could end up catching fire in March, making a deep run? Are you out on the Zags when it comes to Final Four this particular season? Where do you stand?
No, I don't think I'm out on the Zags. I believe in Mark Few and what he's done with building a core group of guys that understand his system, the pace of play. You know, I think sometimes the guard play it gets a little shaky. You don't know who's going to step up. That can be a factor. But I believe with Drew Timme, I just saw what he did to Alabama single-handedly earlier this season when they put 100 points on Alabama. I saw a team that's certainly capable of, with the right matchups, making a run. They're just missing, Andrew Nembhard. You feel only they still one more year of eligibility from him to come back, but he's been doing some great things with the Pacers this year. I think they can still have an opportunity to do so. St. Mary's I can't remember the freshman's name. I don't think anyone was counting on him.
Aiden Mahaney.
Yeah, of being such a stud that he's been this season, and just crushing the West Coast Conference with St. Mary's 10-0 right now in league play. When's the last time someone besides the Zags has won the league?
2012.
By the way.
Yeah, 2012.
2012? Wow. What a streak. No, I certainly think Gonzaga has an opportunity with the right matchup. So that's anybody to still make it to the Final Four. They'd have to really because I think what they do a great job is getting to the foul line. That's a huge advantage for them, and that will be in the tournament, getting opposing teams in foul trouble just defensively and their flow offensively. Will it be enough to make that run if they get the wrong matchup? I don't know.
Yeah, I like the Zags. I don't know about Final Four. I think that just you get spoiled with teams and programs, and one of the things you get spoiled with Gonzaga is like they've always had. You go all the way back to Matt Santangelo and Dan Dickau. They always had a guard. I know Timmy's. He's a Player of the Year candidate. He's right there. They've always had, even up to last year with Suggs and Nembhard, and a dynamic guard that you talk about a lot, right?
Yep.
And they don't necessarily have that when you talk about the tournament and making that type of a run. But could they do it? Yeah, they battled with the best, this season. They played, like Patrick said, Alabama and Baylor and Texas, and they've gone toe to toe with all of them, and so you wouldn't put it past them. But I just know right now, I think that. And they're not the only one in that conversation. So, I think that's why we keep talking about Houston, because they have a couple guards that can explode on you. Rasir Bolton's really good. He had a great game tonight. He was phenomenal. He's not a point guard. He's a scorer. He's a shooter. He's good when he's playing alongside a really good point guard like Nembhard that he was last year. But he's had to take on a big part of that role. But they're really, what Few he's done over the last, two decades has been, phenomenal. I mean, you can't, it's hard to replicate. And if a down year is like, hey, you lose to a really good St. Mary's team, then take that, right, as a coach.
60-second rant, if I may. If we're going to criticize a team as heavily as they've been criticized in a decade for being 20-5, then all of your narratives out there, you know who you are. All of your narratives out there that they can't win the big one, that they can't do this, that they can't do that, You cannot have your cake and eat it too on this show. We won't let it happen. I won't let it happen. It's not happening. We are too harsh at times on Gonzaga. We are. It's, they don't play anybody. It's, they don't have guard play this year. Like, at the end of the day, folks, they've won 20 of 25 games. They did play people. Mark Few's one of the best coaches in America. Have they stumbled? Yeah, but you know what? I'd argue maybe by stumbling, it might lead to some better March results. Who knows?
Could be.
Great point. Sure.
When they ran into Aiden Mahaney, a really good guard, they didn't have an answer. So that's the issue.
Bingo.
but
no
it doesn't knock. It doesn't knock anything that they've done. Look, did you see the graphic during the game? Since 2014, their record against everybody in the league not named BYU and St. Mary's.
Absurd.
They lost one game, and that was this year to Loyola Marymount. It was like 200 something and one.
It
was unbelievable.
I'm not saying that they're going on a Final Four run. Like, let's make that clear. But the discourse on Gonzaga, if it's not one thing, it's the other. We just like ragging on them. I think certain people like ragging on them. Don't rag on them. Mark Few's built one of the best programs in America.